So this Israel Adesanya John Jones beef, of course, has been stewing for a better part of a year now. Between just back and forth, talking about possible fight in 2021. Then over the last couple of weeks, it's picked up a lot more, especially after Izzy's win, dominating win over Paulo Costa. And it's gone a little personal. It's gone a little weird. And I thought it was funny. Now I'm just kind of over it, to be honest.
Really, I'm not really too bothered by the trash talk. I mean, I do agree it was a little weird how personal they're getting.
I mean, talk about his
Um,
dead mom, and that's
yeah, but I mean, it's it's war. That's just kind of what happens. You just kind of go through things like that, and you got to just kind of you got to deal with some punches and take some punches every now and then, especially in the kind of build up to fights. But yeah, I think that the Adesanya and Jones beef is kind of peculiar to me, I guess you could say, because usually when guys have this much heat, the fight is on the horizon, and
mm-hmm.
with this one, there's no telling.
Well, presumably Izzy's next fight is going to be the winner of Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier. Honestly, I'm hoping for Jared Cannonier, not because
Honestly,
I
I
want.
think it might just be Jared Cannonier. Even if Whitaker wins, do you think they'll give him a rematch?
Uh I that's
Because
the
then
only
at that
option.
point, you have
It
Darren Till and Hermanson fighting. What if Till beats him?
it depends
I think he
on
jumps.
it depends on the virtue of the win. If Darren Till dismantles Hermanson, I could see that. If he just barely wins, and depends on how Robert Whitaker wins. But ultimately, to be honest, I see Jared Cannonier winning this, and I see him gain the next title shot anyway. But I, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping
That's gonna
for
be a sick fight, though, man. My God.
Cannonier and Whitaker. That
Yeah,
is a instant barn burner. That's 17 days away, Blake.
it's
17
crazy.
days away as we're recording
That's on
this.
254, right?
That's
Yeah.
254 with Gaethje and Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yep.
17 days away as of recording.
Calvillo's on that card fighting Lauren Murphy. We got Walt Harris making a return against Volkov. There's some good fights on there.
I'm so excited. I
Habib's
am.
little brother gets his debut, right?
That's
And I think in
right.
the bantamweight, I think he's like one of the first fights. I think he is the first fight on the early prelims.
Ooh, it's going to be a glorious, glorious Saturday.
It's gonna be fun.
I think this Izzy and Jones beef. It's weird with. Honestly, I think John Jones has been winning this. Izzy's gotten a couple good shots in, but overall, Jones is a little more experienced on this. For
Yeah, I
being
mean, like
honest.
Jones is literally not lost. Like there's nothing that you could. The only thing that Adesanya could really attack him for is his personal issues, which I think
Hmm.
is kind of a little suspect. But I mean, it's John made those choices, so it is public
Yeah.
answer for that. That's just when you're a public figure, or I mean, I guess you call UFC fighters public figures, but professional athlete, public figure, whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
air quotes.
Right.
Uh,
So
you
what?
know,
I
that's
I
just what you
guess
got to
this
deal
fight
with. People are going to
happens.
bring your problems up and to the light, and you're
Mhm.
going to have to answer for them, and you're going to have to just take that crap. And I think he's done a really good job of saying, yeah, you know what,
Yeah.
I do occasionally do cocaine and blah blah blah, but I'm still undefeated,
Yeah.
and I would still whip your ass.
For all of his downfalls, John Jones, at the least, he doesn't run away from his past. So that's something that I could respect that. I don't respect the actions, but I could respect him owning up to it. The thing is, though, is now the time for them to fight? Should we even care about Jaron Cannonier or any of the other middleweight contenders? Is it
If
time just to go to this fight?
if you're thinking dollar signs like I think Dana White does, 24/7, there's no other fight to make. Izzy and John Jones, there's no other fight. I mean, really. But the only question is now, has how hard has John Jones been prepping for a heavyweight? Like that's really the
Mm-hmm.
only monkey wrench kind of getting thrown in these plans, because John's gonna go either challenge Ngannou or Stipe, whoever has that heavyweight belt, because that's
Yep.
another piece of hardware that's like huge. Izzy, I mean, he's almost gotten to the point to like a super dominant, like not going to be beat champion, but I still think he needs like another one or two wins to get to that
I think a
Silva
Jared
level.
Cannonier win would cement him.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like it could be the Jared, like after the Jared Cannonier fight, but then again, that's another 6-ish months down the line, probably at
Yeah,
least.
at
And
least.
at that point, like John Jones probably already gonna be fighting heavyweight.
I mean, the soonest you can make that fight. So they're fighting in about 2 weeks, give or take. Kenyer, assuming he doesn't take too much damage, which is unlikely, against a guy like the Reaper. You give him 4 months between fights, maybe like a month off, and then 3 months of camp at least. We're saying at least it's going to be 4 months away, and by then might be better just to pull the plug on John Jones. But at that point, too, what weight class is this? Is this going to be fought at light heavyweight? Are we going to see a catchweight fight, maybe
Right.
195 pounds? Where do you
That
think
would be
this is?
that would be the big question. I think that it would have to take place at light heavyweight. I just think that that's kind of the ball's kind of in John Jones's court,
Mm,
because what purpose does John Jones have of challenging Adesanya? Adesanya is really the guy that's been challenging John Jones the whole time, because that's kind
mhm,
of reaching for the stars, right? You're reaching
exactly.
for the guy that's always going to,
The
you
GOAT.
know, the GOAT, right? You want to get to that status. So, I mean, John Jones, not saying that fighting Izzy is like a step down in competition or anything like that, but it is on the surface level of just analyzing like fight matchups. You'd just be like, why? Like you
Exactly.
you have you have bigger fish to fry, literally, with Stipe and Ngannou. Probably make a little more money with championships on the line. Because I mean,
Hmm.
what's going to be on the line with Adesanya and John Jones? It's just going to be, a star fight, like just a big
Maybe maybe
Nate
at
Diaz
that
versus
point it
McGregor.
might just be the first loss there. But besides that, it's more of Israel Adesanya having a lot to gain and not as much to lose, whereas John Jones is flipped. He
I
has a
think it's
lot.
just he has a lot to prove,
Hmm.
but not really a lot to gain, because
Mm,
he would still be proven. It's kind of like
yeah.
it's a win-win. I feel like for
Hmm.
Adesanya, but for John Jones, it's for sure a
I think this
win-lose.
whole feud, though, I kind of disagree with it, at least with how early it got. I agree. I disagree with what Izzy's doing more because we've heard in all the promos and all of his interviews that he wants to be that middleweight guy. He wants someone that has beat everyone,
Mhm.
and he's trying to start something with a guy out of his weight class before he's handled everyone in the middleweight division. He's beat one guy for the title, and now he's defended his belt twice. That's not a cemented legacy. So his focus should not even be on John Jones. Honestly, you know, he should be focusing on every single middleweight contender, whether it be Cannonier, Till, Hermanson, all those top guys before he moves on to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him fight Cannonier for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a Till fight would just be cherry on top. That would just be, I mean, just imagine if they were able to have a press conference, all that stuff. Like the shit talk would be
Mm-hmm.
unreal. Oh my
Hopefully, by that
goodness.
point, we will be able to have all this. I mean, they had the press conference for 253, luckily,
Mhm.
and hey, Dana White's getting everything back going together. So I think I love the future of the middleweights.
Yeah,
This
well, I
is
like
good.
what Dana's been doing lately too. Like how I don't think it was for last week's. It might have been the week before. Remember how he put the kind of like the undercard of the main event.
Hmm.
Like I think it
To
was the
promote
Cowboy fight.
them instead of everyone else.
Yeah,
I
like he
thought
had
that was great.
Hamzat up there, all those like up and coming studs, and then obviously Cowboy is still a legend.
Hmm.
Nico Price, all those guys. I thought it was a cool move by Dana White and the UFC to put those guys up there and give them some shine.
Yeah, no, I really respected that. And if you're trying to build stars, what better way to do it than there? You know,
Right.
everything starts in the press conference. How do you think Conor McGregor gained most of his popularity? By
Right. I mean,
saying
you
by
got
saying the
it.
magic words.
Who the
Who the
fuck is
fuck is
that
that guy?
guy?
Oh,
I
that
still use
was
that GIF weekly, bro.
it's it's honestly top 5 MMA moments, and it didn't even happen inside the octagon.